Boom, boom, boom. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Boozy Botanical Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Angelique.
And I'm Holly.
And we're here.
We're here.
Really excited because this is our second guest episode.
That's right. It was so much fun. Today we are talking with Adam, aka @NotDude.
On all the things.
Yes.
We just had this chat and it was so much fun. Adam, you're a doll.
I love you.
Jinx.
Yeah.
So kind. So knowledgeable.
Yes, I think
all
you guys
vocab words on this episode.
I think you guys are gonna love this episode because we talk Leca, we talk getting into plants, we talk moving with plants, so many good things. So I think you guys are really gonna take away so many great tidbits.
He's awesome. And I won't spoil it, but his first plant, I don't know how. Don't know how. You'll have to wait and see.
You'll have to wait and see. Well, we're so excited for today's episode. We know you guys are going to love it. And without further ado, let's welcome Adam.
Welcome, Adam.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thank
Absolutely.
You are our second guest on the show. So excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be here. And I love, obviously, the branding. Look at this video. I mean, come on.
Stop it, you. You permission. This is all Holly. I don't do anything. She grabs her little iPad and she's like, bloop, and then there's I don't know, and then it's a Picasso all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we stand.
I can't live up to you.
No. Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
I just like coloring all day. I'm just like, ooh, all these fun colors.
I don't even know. Well, I am so excited. Let's start with how you guys met because I'm newer to the plant game, but you guys have been little Insta friends for a while, right?
I think so. Yeah, I've been following Adam forever.
How long is forever?
Maybe at least a couple years. I think. I think so.
I was trying to think back to it too, but I can't remember. But it's been a while.
Yeah,
sure.
I remember your first few YouTube videos too, like before you moved to Arizona and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Cringe.
No, it was awesome though. And it's so funny because my parents, they now live in Gilbert. And so when you were moving to Gilbert, I was like, no way.
You guys are neighbors.
Yeah.
I know. That's so cool. Yeah, I didn't realize you were from Arizona until recently.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And Angelique is from Tucson.
I'm from Tucson, where Rebecca's from. Or Becca. She goes,
nice.
Yeah. I've never met her, but we chatted once on Instagram, even before I even had a plant Insta. And I was like, I'm from Tucson too. Hi. She's so
Tucson's
nice.
a beautiful city. Beautiful city.
Yeah.
So you've explored Tucson a bit?
Yeah, I did the whole Mount Lemmon a couple times and went up to Windy Point, and it's just
so
gorgeous.
pretty.
Have you been to Windy Point?
I think we've shot up there a couple times.
God, it's gorgeous.
So pretty.
Oh yes.
So happy.
So cool. So yeah, Instagram's great. That's how we met essentially.
I know. And you guys never met in person, right?
No.
No.
I know.
So we gotta fix that outside of the pandy.
Yes.
I know. You guys should do a little trade as you head off to Florida.
Exactly. So we're moving across the country, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to make my stops along the way to say bye to people or hello. So
crazy. Where are you from originally, Adam?
It's kind of weird. I was born in Alaska, and then when I was two, we moved to Nebraska, and that's where I grew up my whole life.
Nice.
And then after college, I went to Illinois for 10 years, and now I'm in Arizona.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Oh, go ahead.
What's the best state? Or do you have a favorite?
Probably Arizona. I don't remember much of Alaska, but to be honest, the seasonal depression hits me hard, especially in the Midwest. So I couldn't imagine living with 3 months of darkness in Alaska.
I know. Isn't it true? Sometimes the sun doesn't even set. It'll be 2 a.m. and the sun is still kind of out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from what I recall, there's certain parts of the year where it's bright daylight for 3 months constant, and then also 3 months of constant darkness. So,
oh my God. Can you imagine trying to have plants in that whole situation?
oh
like,
gosh, no.
But then what do you, yeah, I can't even think about that.
I've heard that like blackout curtains are an item in Alaska. Like you gotta get your good curtains when you live in Alaska, because I watched I don't know if you guys watched it, but
yes, I remember that.
Those crazy, ridiculous things. But it's true. Like, how would you? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty people in Alaska, but like,
I know we gotta look up the geotag on Instagram and see if we can find anyone.
Do
you know anybody in Alaska with the plants?
I don't. I mean, when I first started YouTube, there was one person that I can't even remember their channel, but they were living in Alaska. But I haven't saw that in a long time. So yeah, no, I don't know anyone.
All the plants died. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to put that into the universe. They're going to find you, Alaskan planty person.
Yes,
because
we want to know all the things.
Believe you exist.
Oh,
wow, that's crazy.
Well, also, before we get too far, what is everyone drinking? Adam, would you share? I know you're a whiskey connoisseur, bourbon connoisseur.
I do love the dark liqueur. I have my favorite, which is Blanton's. It's kind of a hard one to find, but the bottle is like
fun. That is so cool. Oh my God, probably like that looks like a Total Wine find, or not even that maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to find. Total Wine does they do lotteries for it, but it's so hard to get your hands on.
Would you say it's the what is the plant in Brazil everyone wants?
The Spiritus Sancti of whiskey.
The Spiritus Sancti of bourbon.
It might be close.
Dang.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's my special bourbon, so I had to break it out for this.
Oh, we feel so honored.
I had 2 sips of Truly. I'm gonna start crying. Like, stop it.
I know. Yeah, we are drinking Truly lemonade. It's made another comeback.
Mango lemonade.
Yeah,
so that's a little mix up from last time.
Mm-hmm. So we have basic, and then we have like super cool whiskey.
We're just here to make you look better.
Okay, yeah.
It's so fun.
I love a good Truly when I'm floating around in the pool, just drinking some Truly. Nothing beats it.
Just like the water, just like in your
and it really does quench your thirst. It does.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
So Adam, how did you first get into plants, and how long would you say you've been in the planty game?
Well, nature has always been like a calming thing for me, like regardless of, what I'm talking about. When I was outside or when I was in the mountains, it just was like a centering feeling in my life. So at some point, I think it was in 2018, I successfully cared for a plant. And then it was just like downhill snowball from there. Like had to get them all.
Do you remember which plant it was?
It was a Maranta, the prayer plant that has like the purple backs with the red stripes.
Oh yes,
that's not one,
right?
No,
wow.
And every single, they move up and down, but I didn't know that as a baby plant parent.
Yes,
I had no idea. Every time it folded down, I was like, it's wilting. I need to give it water. And I think eventually it probably did die, but it stayed alive longer than any other plant.
Well, at least like giving it extra water, maybe that's what kept it alive, that you thought it was wilting.
Yeah.
I think I had one of those too. It was one of my first handful of houseplants that I got. And I remember just thinking like, how is this a plant? Because it's so pretty. Like, because I think, Calathea weren't always that popular. So growing up, I'd never seen one, but they're so gorgeous. Like if you really think about it,
Shocking how pretty they can be.
I hate that they're divas, but they're gorgeous.
I know. I always call them the siren call of the plants, because you see one and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But then, it'll betray you.
I know.
You literally hit the nail on the head. Yeah. That is the best way to describe a Calathea, because I've got I don't know if I should say that. I have battered women syndrome when it comes to Calathea, but not that. But it's just I kill one and then I'm like, never again.
You keep
and then
taking them back.
And I take a little walk into like Mickey's or even Lowe's, because now I'm seeing Calathea at Lowe's and I'm like, were you calling me?
Well, especially like with your orbifolia, it's so pretty. She just got like a giant orbifolia. I'm jelly.
I found an orbifolia where, like, if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, it's like this big across. I don't know what this is, but it's big. Maybe it's that big. Let's not get crazy. But like, it was huge. And Holly was with me when I picked it up. And this girl that was selling it, she was selling a ton of plants because she's moving, and she was like total collector. Like, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
But this plant was $30. And everything else was like very competitive. Like, I told you she had a plant that was like 200 something that she was also selling. I think she had
like Plowmanii and like the fancies, you know?
Things that I can't pronounce. I was like, she must have hated you. Like, there's no other reason that you could have been this price. Broke the siren's call. Like, she was just like, no. Oh,
that's awesome though. So that was your first plant. That's a good first plant just because it's so pretty.
Yeah, and then I bought a macrame plant hanger with it, and it was just like one of those macrame plant hangers that's like made of, what's that? Like, it's almost like a twine material.
Oh yeah, like
the white
not burlap. Is it like that one?
Like
it's more chorus, right? Like kind of like sort. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
It's not like white. It's not white macrame.
Correct. Yeah, it's like a natural color of like a tan or a brown, but it was like $30. And then I got home and I was just like, man, I spent $30 on this piece of string. So then I figured out how to make them myself, and that's where Not Dude comes from. Is I started out making macrame plant hangers, but I mean, you can see all the ones behind me here.
Did you make all of those?
Question. That's so funny. I was like,
most of them. There's a couple leather ones that I didn't make, but yeah.
Oh, those are gorgeous too. Oh, that's amazing.
I've always been curious. Like, is it difficult? Is there like a definite like a dance to, I don't know if dance makes sense, but like a rhythm to making? I don't know. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I think you can get into a flow. It seems
like when you're making pottery, you're the things. Like,
the dance of the chords.
Because I've always wanted to make one.
You should do it. I mean, sure. I learned from YouTube, just like I learn everything else, and there's usually just a couple basic knots that and once you learn them, you can just make a plant hanger, and then you use it. But yeah,
this is what the Boy Scouts should be doing. Yes. Like, why aren't they out here throwing out macrame outside of Ralph's? Like, I don't know.
I know.
Screw you.
We don't give a shit about your popcorn.
That's right. Because why do only the girls sell cookies?
I don't know. So weird.
We're gonna have to investigate that. There's something wrong there. I don't know what it is. That's true. Screw your popcorn. Hold my plant. You know,
yes, exactly. Well, that's so cool. Yeah, I love when you can like dive into a new hobby that like you can just start doing right away. You know, so whether it be like plants or macrame or painting, it's like it's such an inviting feeling to be like, oh, I got this, and like you get like a serotonin rush from it. Like, it's just the best.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I definitely I think I call myself a serial hobbyist because at one point I made like chainmail jewelry, and I did all of these like things that I'm like, I can figure that out, and I did, and I just keep bouncing back and forth between things.
You're chasing the hobbies.
Oh my God. I do the same thing. Funny enough, with our giveaway that we just did, we were coming up with like the items that we were going to give away. And I told Angelique,
oh, listen to this.
I'm like, I really want to get into like punch needling or like rug tufting. I'm like, so I'm going to learn it. And then I'm going to make something, and that's going to be part of the prize. And she's like,
one she's ever, as if it's going to take 2 hours. She's like, I'm going to just punch it up. It'll be fine.
And she goes, I can see the look on your face. You're like, okay, well, how about we have a pin as a backup? I'm like, no, it's fine. So I got all my stuff. I went on Amazon. I spent like $50 on all this bullshit to make this punch needle thing. And I'm like, punch. God damn it. It's not working. So, let's just say that's TBD. That's
the next time I came with her, I was like, how's it going? And she's like, you ordered the pins, right?
And it's important to try new stuff. So.
Little does the winner know you're just going to throw it in unmade, being like, you figure it out.
Here, you have all the stuff I bought. You take it. I don't want it anymore.
TikTok makes things look so easy, and you're just like, oh, I can do that easily.
I know. Oh my God.
Lie is what that is.
That's so funny. Are you on plant TikTok, Adam?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of just done like I don't do all plants, but when I started doing plant videos on TikTok, like, they get a lot more traction, but it's a mix. It's a weird mix of things I find funny and plants. So
that's good though. That's why I love TikTok. Like I like it. I mean, I like it for plants, but all the random things you can learn and just like the laughs you get. So it's really fun. But I'm glad there's a for sure.
People are so damn creative and funny that I'm just like, how did you even think of this? Like, but I love
it.
Yeah,
that's so true. Because I'm a TikTok noob, as in I have 1 post up and 2 followers. And, I'm killing it. And there was I don't know who it was. It's probably someone you sent me, because it's funny. I also, just so you know, I don't get notifications for TikTok, so I'll hop on and it's like 5-day-old messages from Holly.
Because that's my love language. Sending you TikTok.
That was on the quiz. That's so funny, because like I see people just grabbing these little sound bites, and I'm like, how did you think of that?
Yeah.
Well, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a good Kardashian soundbite, as what I've learned.
You can't, or you can't.
No, you can't. It's so funny.
Those are my people.
Yeah. Like the Kim attacking Courtney one, where she's just like, "How dare you?
Don't be fucking rude."
That's what.
Yeah,
I'll do my first plant TikTok. It's probably already been done 10,000 times. I'm gonna just look at my calathea and be like, "How dare you!"
Exactly. That's a perfect plant for it.
I'm gonna post it before this airs.
Okay.
Listeners.
It's been done already. Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So this was 2018. You jumped into the plant game. So you were starting with knotting, and then did it just naturally come like, I need something to put in these hangers, and it just like snowballed from there?
Yeah. There was like a perfect storm, and well, perfect isn't probably the best word to use, but I was going through like a big transitional point in my life. I was married to a woman, and I was coming out as gay, so plants were like a therapy for me. So yeah, I made a bunch of plant hangers, and then I put plants to fill in them. But then I'm not a parent, but I always say it to people, like, if you saw your kid pick their nose and not wipe it on something and get a Kleenex, like the proudness that you feel was how I felt when I saw a new leaf. I was just like, I kept this thing alive.
Yes. Like I birthed this leaf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so it just was like, from there on, I couldn't stop, because it was so rewarding and therapeutic to just watch plants grow and thrive in your care.
Oh yeah. I completely connect with that, because like I think plants are they're a vital part of like therapy that people don't even realize is out there. Like, there's therapy, and then there's like plant therapy, which is a really good, like, alongside other things in life. Just like, I don't know, it just makes you so happy. And like I can't even describe how amazing plants are in that sense. Like, yeah, people don't even know. Like, for example, I told my mom, I was like, because she's starting to get into plants, and I'm like, hey mom, I'm going to give you my string of dolphins. And she started to cry. She was that happy. So it's like,
I know your mom. That's why it makes me laugh.
But I think that it just goes to show like how amazing plants are. And maybe it connects us to nature. Like, I don't know, but yeah, that's really awesome.
Well, it's actually I know, like in the professional therapy world, sometimes they'll actually like assign patients to like get a plant and to start small with like relieving stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, same.
For me, it's the soil in there.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I was on Clubhouse the other day, and someone said that there is some sort of serotonin release when you're like digging in soil. And I kind of believe it, because
yes,
when you're mixing your own soil, when you get your hands in there, you're just like, you feel like, I don't know, it just like gives you chills. You're just like, yes,
you're in charge. You're mixing, you're throwing in that charcoal.
It's like a kid playing in the dirt.
Yes, I'm sure it's the same thing that kids get, for sure.
Yep,
it's crazy.
Amazing.
Is Clubhouse plant world poppin'? Because I told Holly,
sorry, it does that. I'm sorry.
It's good. It was exciting. I've been telling Holly that I want us to hop on that Clubhouse game. Yes. Would you say it's poppin' in the plant world? Because I haven't found that many groups.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of gardeners. Like I was in a room and I started a room because, well, first of all, it's iPhone only, which I hate,
Right.
but I think it'll come to the other devices.
I've heard they will.
But I was in a room and the gardeners kind of took it over because it's big with the gardeners, and I'm not a gardener. But yeah, there's been more and more plant people on there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're gonna hop on.
We'll let you know if we do.
Well,
or when we do.
We asked on Instagram. We're like, who'd be down? And I was like, we got enough yeses. All it took was one for me. It's like,
yeah, it's really fun.
Cool.
Nice.
So Holly tells me that you are a king of the semi-hydro. Is this true?
The Lord of Leca.
Lord of Leca. That's amazing.
That. Oh my god.
Episode title.
I'm the jester of I can't even make it sound cute.
Yeah, same.
I have so many questions because
I know I was listening to your last episode on soil, and I was just like, your podcast I feel like is a lot like the one we do, where I just feel like I'm in a room with friends, and so when you're forgetting something, I'm like, distilled water. That's what you were talking about. So,
I know. I'm like, I know people screaming at us through their phones or wherever they're listening.
Do you know how sad that was that I re-listened to it and I still couldn't figure out what I was trying to say? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Oh my god. Speaking of distilled, oh my god, no, go ahead. I got sparklets.
That's what I use. I use sparklets. Honestly, it's been a lifesaver.
I just started. They just delivered to my house. I have like 5 of them in my garage right now. The big one.
Oh my gosh.
There she is. I have the same turkey.
Yeah. So that's how I fill my humidifiers when I want to, because it's just so easy.
It's
okay. If I had the room to store that, and well, I'm moving into a bigger house, but maybe I'll look into that too.
It's so cost effective. If you worry about like plastic and stuff, you're using way less plastic. Because I was going to the store 5 times a week to grab gallons of distilled water. It's insane. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was an aside. But yes, Leca, I apologize, Lord.
Lord. No. But yeah, I don't know. Leca it's just been one of those like nerdy things that I wanted to learn and like dive into, because like it was something new, and I just love it. I love being nerdy with my plants and getting scientific.
Oh yeah. And it's almost like a side hobby too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I know in your episode you were talking, like Angelique, you were talking about the pH and how you were like, I'm not effing with that, which I understand.
It's just flashbacks to my mom working at the pool. And I'm like, I'm not worthy. I feel like the Leca's better than me. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Change my mind.
But I was going to tell you that I think that if you propagate in Leca, that's a little less, you don't have to be so specific. So if you're going to propagate, I always propagate with Leca, water, and Super Thrive, or liquid dirt if that's what you use. But yeah. Okay. And honestly, it's the best. I think the roots are better than water roots, in my opinion, because they're the in-between stage. They're not water roots. They still have root hair because the Leca provides them something to grip onto. And then, when you transition it to soil, if that's what you're going to use, I think there's more success, in my opinion, with using Leca as a propagation method.
Like less shock time, or like yeah.
That's really interesting that you say that, because a few episodes ago I was talking about how I got a Raffi off of Facebook Marketplace, and she had sold it to me. That's how I got my Leca that I have, is that she sold it to me in a big cup filled with Leca, and I was like, what is this? And when I unpotted it, these bad boys were thick roots, and now. I transferred it to chunky. They're thick. I transferred them to chunky soil, and it's like the plant. The adjustment period seemed really good. Like it didn't suffer that much, and I was like, "What's happening?" But it seems really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's probably true with like if you do like Holly, you do perlite propagations too. Like it's like a nice medium, because the one thing that's never visible when you propagate in just water is those tiny little root hairs. But you can see that when it's Leca, and you can see it when it's in perlite. Yeah. And those are what soil roots or like terrestrial roots have. So.
Oh, new words. Terrestrial roots.
That's what that is. Because like terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm learning a vocab word every week on these episodes.
Hell yeah. That's so cool.
Okay, advice then. So Holly and I both recently acquired these Monstera elbow cuttings, like unrooted. And I have mine in perlite. I checked this morning. The smaller one has more rot and I'm running out of node. I'm like, ah! But have you ever rooted a Monstera in Leca? Like, do you think for the most part it's successful? Like, I'm doing perlite, but I just don't know if maybe like I should even disturb it or try a new medium with it. Cause I like, money's money. I don't want it to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with that. I think that, like, I think you're good doing what you're doing with it.
Okay.
But Monstera, so philodendron and Monstera in general just have wild roots. Like they will grow everywhere.
Yeah.
So I tend to stick away from Leca on those. I have a few philodendron in Leca, but the roots just, my bilietier that I have, the roots on that are just insane. And they've grown through the net pot so much that there's just no way that I'm ever going to be able to take it out without cutting them.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I think I remember your guys' episode on Potted Together. I think it was your Leca episode. You guys were saying like when it pops through the net pot, they can like the tips of the roots can rot. Like I've noticed that too. Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting point you bring up.
The net.
So yeah,
there's a net?
No, it's like a
dude, I'm such a baby when it comes to all this.
Okay, so
there we go.
Here's my gloriosum in Leca. This is kind of gross, but like you can see the roots. That's a net pot.
Oh, it literally looks like a net. Okay, I was so stupid. I was like, the Cocoa Puffs have a net in there? Like how dumb am I?
That's okay.
Okay, we're on the same page. Thank you. I'm caught up. We're good. Continue.
Yeah. But I think what helps me with what I like about Leca and also with your perlite situation is that I'm a nosy ass. And so I want to know what's going on, especially those expensive plants that you were spent a good chunk of money on. And you're like, and you have rot on them and you're just like, I need to make sure this lives. So that's why I like Leca for that, just so I can just pull it out and see. And
yes, right. It's so true. So do you have, besides like, I guess, philodendron, like what is your preferred plant for Leca? Like which one do you think is like, they shine and like they really thrive in Leca?
Oh, Hoya for sure. I have so many Hoya in Leca.
Amazing. Yeah. That's what I hear. Like I'm willing to try Leca just because I love Hoyas so much. So I want to see my babies happy and thrive.
Do you think you're going to try once you're in Florida? You're going to do the experiment?
I might. Or maybe Pon. Do you use Pon, Adam?
It's always freaking sold out. So no, but I did have a friend he brought me a Ziploc bag of Pon. So I did put I have a Polynura back here that's in Pon right now. Yeah. But I know you can make your own recipes. I think Lecia Leaves has a DIY Pon recipe because it's just, slow release fertilizer in certain porous rock. But
okay.
I don't have too much experience on the Pon side, but I'm doing some now.
Yeah. It seems like a good, like really in between the sort of soil-free media and soil because it's, I don't know, just more soil-like, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to worry about the roots being as pristinely clean with Pon as you do with Leca.
Oh, that's a good point. Because with Leca, I've just heard like sometimes it can be so difficult to get every single speck of soil off the roots. And isn't it like it could cause rot if you don't?
Yeah, because then that medium that's around those roots is just staying constantly saturated through the capillary action, so they just end up rotting. So I'm always at my sink with like a soft bristle toothbrush just scrubbing the shit out of them.
Yes.
Also, that's a pro tip. When cleaning the roots, toothbrush it out.
That's so soft bristle toothbrush.
Oh my,
that's awesome.
Sponsored by Colgate. That is so cool because I always my poor boyfriend's probably so annoyed. For like a month I've had an old toothbrush just at the sink because I don't know where to put it, but I can't use this in my mouth anymore because I used it to like scrub a stain off of jeans. And I'm like, that's my go-to toothbrush. Plants, clothes, anything. And I just,
It's so funny. You know what that also reminds me of? Have you guys seen that TikTok where they say if you take a wet toothbrush and with your cat and you like brush their head,
I saw that.
it makes them think it's like their mother. I tried that with Fitzy and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get that away from me. But I need a toothbrush for that. So I'm like, I gotta try this.
It's so funny. If it were my cat, I would have been bitten on the nose at that point. My cat attacks my face.
Oh, jeez.
We're all not parents.
Are you a cat dad?
Yeah, my little Patches.
Patches. She's so precious.
I want a little girl so badly.
She's like a calico, like a muted calico cat. She's the most beautiful cat.
What's your experience been with kitties and plants?
She's been good. She doesn't go after any of them. But except for like a spider plant or a ponytail palm. For some reason, the shape of those leaves is just like it's like they have to attack them. So I usually keep those pretty far away from her, but that's it.
Yeah.
We should grab your spider plant. It's like wilted.
Yeah, it looks rough.
That's the one that Fitzy likes too. Oh man.
I get the same way.
My spider plant is in a Wally grow, literally almost touching my ceiling. And I'm like, just you try. Just you try.
So funny.
He's a dickhead. My cat's name is Bagheera, aka Boog. He's a little Bombay, like a little mini panther. And that dude's from the streets. So like my cat, the history that I know about this cat, because I adopted him when he was like 5, almost 6 from a rescue, is that supposedly he's from South Central LA. So like God only knows what he got up to. And then he was found with like a broken jaw, and we don't know how it happened, but I think it was probably some sort of accident or abuse, like who knows. But someone saved him, and then the rescue saved him, and then he got into my house. So like he's never like had a home. So I think for him it's like a whole new world. So it's like totally different. But I like want to know what he got up to. I'm convinced that he terrorized yards growing up. Like he loves plants. If you ever come to my house, everything's elevated for the most part.
It's so funny. Angelique will come over and she's like, "Oh, you have plants on the ground, plants on the table. You're so lucky."
Literally, I took care of Holly's cat a while back when she was traveling, and I would come over. I'm going to come over, and everything's going to be flipped over. There's going to be no Hoyas left, and he's just sleeping. And I'm like, how dare you? Like, I'm
the audacity.
Yeah,
I know.
the audacity
he's a baby. He's only 1 year old.
I know. My boy's almost 8 now, and I'm like,
he's young at heart still.
I know. No, he sure is. He goes through phases though. Like he can definitely reach my Monstera because I have a breakfast nook at my house, and he loves to sleep on the bench, and it's right next to the Monstera because it's on like a plant stand. And like my boyfriend will be like, calm down, because we'll be at dinner and my heart just starts like, I start palpitating because I like, is that even a word? I don't know. But he was just like, I'll see him. He's just like in the leaf of the Monstera. And I'm like,
because he also likes to smell the leaves. That's what Fitzy likes.
Yes.
I don't know if Patches does this, but Fitzy will like rub up against a leaf and like smell a leaf. I'm like, okay, just stop there. Like that's as far as you go with this plant.
Yeah, she doesn't do that. But her hair obviously gets like attached to everything. Just
yeah.
You're like, the science is not happening. It can't get any like sun because of your hair.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She was just a stray cat at my mom's house out in rural Nebraska. So I think I got her in November of 2018. So kind of about the same time I got my plants.
That's so amazing.
That's really cool. So she made the move to Arizona with you.
Yeah, so she drove back from Nebraska to Illinois, and then she made the move. Like when my dog was still alive, them two were in the back seat with the plants in the far back, and it was.
That's so sweet.
That's what I wanted to ask. Says our girl here is going cross country. What was how many plants did you have to move at the time? And what was your method? Or did you declutter plants? Like, what was your thing? What would you do?
Yeah, I think it was like a hybrid of both. I got rid of some plants. Moving is always that time in my life where I have an emotional attachment to something. But when I like look at it, when I'm moving, I'm like, no, I don't need it. Like, get it out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I did get rid of some of my plants. I rehomed them, but then I did a YouTube video on it, but it's more of a vlog about moving because when you're moving, you're just stressed AF. And
Oh my God,
did not record the process. But I went to my local nursery in Illinois, and they have these like big plastic bulb crates that can stack on each other that they get from their cellar.
Yes. Yeah.
So like some of them are 10 inches tall. So I just put my plants in like height formation and then put them in there, and then you could stack them on top of each other.
That's awesome.
So that
and that's
really
air and
smart.
stuff. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
And wardrobe boxes are the best for your tall babes. So
that's what I'm looking for.
We're just talking about that.
Yeah, that's amazing because I do have clear bins, and I like that it allows light to get in, but I'm a little worried about like airflow because I'm intending to stack them, but they have to be closed. So I'm like, I'm a little scared. But the crates sound great because like it still allows airflow and light.
Just even any local nurseries
work
we're getting rid of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh.
Wow, that's so cool. Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited about your move to Florida. You're going to be in like Hoya Central, and you're just going to have everything outside, and it's going to thrive, and I'm going to hate you.
You know what we're going to do, Adam? I already have a list of people. You don't know about this, but I was talking to Brandon and Nicole somewhere in there, I'm sure. I'm just making a list. I'm going to give you a list of people's addresses. And like, that's your job now, Holly. You're just, if you see a steal, you're going to be like, this one goes to Gilbert. This one goes to LA. And you're going to be our plug.
I will, especially like because the big box stores out there are popping. Even just like Lowe's and Home Depot, like
insane.
We went a couple weeks ago just to check out the house, and like they were doing updates and stuff. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to Lowe's since we're picking up light bulbs anyway. And I found a Hoya Lacinosa snow caps at the Lowe's.
Nice.
It was super, super splashy. And then they also had a Ficus triangularis. So I'm like, oh my God, I can only imagine. And technically it was still winter. I'm like, it's like 80 degrees. And they're like, it's still winter. Like the plants are coming. I'm like, oh my God.
Like they look like they're here already. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's going to be a whole like, I mean, I want to grow plants outside, but it does get hot. So I'm like, are they going to be okay?
But the humidity is so high too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine because that humidity will just like coat them and all they need. So, I'm so jealous.
Goodness.
I'm excited.
When you were in Nebraska, did you have cacti and succulents? And if you did, how was it adjusting to Arizona's heat for you?
Yeah, no, I didn't have when I was in Nebraska and Illinois because I moved to Arizona from Illinois.
Right. That's right.
No, I didn't because those were always the surefire plants I killed. In the Midwest, you have to have them in a direct south window, or else they're just not going to do anything.
Oh, wow! Do you have any now?
So I do. I have a bunch outside, and I absolutely adore them. At first I was like, cactus are boring, but now when I'm here and walking around the nurseries, I'm just like, they're so beautiful.
Yeah,
they're fascinating.
Arizona is the spot for cacti.
Totally. It's a state flower as well. The saguaro cactus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Is our state plant. It's illegal. Like you can get arrested if you get caught like cutting one or anything. It's no joke.
Saguaro,
yeah, you'll get imprisoned. I'm like, good.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny. Each state kind of has their thing. Like we were working in South Carolina, and if you guys, when the beaches out there, like on the East Coast, they have like the seagrass and there's like the mountains. I remember like one of the producers like, okay, guys, you can't step on those because those are protected. I'm like, oh, it's the saguaro of the beach. And same thing with Florida. Like they call it like wetlands. You can't do anything with wetlands. So any place where there's natural ferns, like they'll have like Boston ferns just like growing out of the ground and you can't do anything. So a lot of the trouble people get out there is they'll buy like an acre and it's on wetlands and they can't do anything. So it's really interesting how each state,
they own the land. Wow, that's crazy.
So it's interesting how each state, like, I'm glad they're protecting the nature.
True, for sure.
It's such an interesting thing, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before we move on from Leca, I wanted to ask you quickly, is there like a specific thing or things plural that you feel like people generally misunderstand about Leca? Like, you need to set the record straight about anything?
Yeah, and it's probably going to be the thing that makes you so upset, but pH, it matters. But it also matters in soil. Like
Totally, that's true.
if you look online, you can find charts, and there's the whole list of nutrients that plants need, and they only take those nutrients in their roots during certain pH levels. So usually 5 to 6 is what I always set my nutrient solution at. I mix it in a gallon jug, and as it's in the plant, it becomes more acidic. So it kind of covers the whole range. And then, after 2 weeks, I kind of do a flush and re-add nutrients. But yeah, pH, I was going to do a YouTube video on Leca, like common questions that people ask. And I haven't done it yet because there were so many questions. And a lot of people were like,
yeah,
is it just, I just need Leca and water? And I'm like, no, like you can't survive as a human off of water. Plants need nutrients too. Like that's not, I think a lot of people thought that you could just buy Leca, stick a plant in it, and use water and super thrive, and that's all you were ever going to need to do. And it's just, that's so not true.
Right. And it's almost like too, now that you say that, like that plants also need to be have a balanced pH in soil. Like it's almost like you can control your plants entirely better with Leca because you know exactly their pH, you know how much nutrients they're getting, and you can see the roots. So it kind of seems like you're like a master of all the elements of your plants,
Yeah, and it's super fun for me to do that. Yeah, soil testing pH is a little bit more difficult than, just putting some water in a vial and putting a few drops in and just seeing what color it turns,
For sure. Oh, that's amazing though.
I'm going to do it for you guys. I'm going to try. Do I need this is going to sound so stupid too. When mom was working on the pool and there was like the vials in different colors, do I need that for plants? Is that a thing? Does that sound stupid?
No, I mean, no, it's not stupid because I was a lifeguard, so I used to have to do that too. But really, there's
okay.
Yeah, there's a pH kit, and you literally just have a vial that you put your water in, and you just have a few drops of a solution, and you shake it, and you just see what color it is, and then you can add pH down or pH up sparingly just to adjust it. So
it really is like the same thing in that sense. Like
I guess it is.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'm going to do it, guys.
Do it.
Do I buy this on Amazon? Like, where do I get the pH kit?
I have it linked in my Amazon favorites.
Ooh, there you go. Support the fam.
Get that link. Yes. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Awesome. I feel like it's attainable now.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And even just for propagating, like just to that calistophylla that's just sitting right in front of you, just take a cutting of that and stick it in some Laca. Or is it a calistophylla?
I think it's a calamantin. That's what it was sold to me as.
This is gorgeous.
This is a Hoya?
Mm-hmm. I've had it for like 2 years and I've only gotten 2 leaves. So
wow. Is it a slow grower?
I think so. One other person on Instagram said they get like 1 leaf a year. So I'm like, well, maybe in Florida you'll start to, because California is dry.
Sure
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to literally just cross the border. And then you're going to have like a hitch, right?
Yeah. So a trailer.
I like to imagine Tyson and Holly in the car with Stormy and Fitz. And I never call him Fitz. Okay.
It's okay.
It's Fitz now. And you guys are just like hanging out, playing some music. You cross the border. It's like, boom. And then it's boom. There's like going to be a shake. And you're going to be like, what was that? Did the trailer come undone? And you're going to look behind and it's going to be shaking. The trailer's going to be shaking. And you're going to pull over and they're all just like blowing up.
Yeah, the Hoya vines are just creeping out of every exit.
They're just twisting around.
You won't even know it says U-Haul anymore. It's just like overcome.
If only that were true.
That's what I think of Florida.
Me too.
What? Oh man.
I'll keep you guys posted for sure.
I have one more quick question. I'm going off the notes. I'm like rogue. Does anyone ever use Leca with suckies and cacti? Or is that like just not a thing?
My friend Nicole she was doing a test. So she has a cactus that's like thriving in Leca. And I had one that I had in Leca too. And it was doing really great. But then I kind of just ignored it for a long time. And then it didn't do so good, but that was my fault. But yeah, I think they can grow. You just have to be a little more cognizant of like your watering.
Right.
That kind of stuff. But
so it's possible.
So cool. I think Tiffany from Minimalistic Cali, I think she had like an opuntia in Leca for a while too. And I was like, oh, I guess you can do that too. Like,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I guess They're a type of plant though that's just like they just live. So it might be hard to me. It's like
they could live in concrete pretty much. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing about cactus that like kind of pisses me off because like sometimes I kill them. Obviously, we all do. And then I'm hiking and there's just like a barrel cactus growing out of the side of a mountain, and I'm like, what the hell? Like this thing is thriving, stuck in rock, and I couldn't even keep it alive.
Yeah, it's so funny.
When I had that realization, I was just like, I'm not touching you. Like, ask me when I've watered my cacti. I don't know. They don't look brown.
If it's outdoors, I'm like, I'll let Mother Nature take care of you.
Yes.
If it rains, that's when you get water.
Literally. If it rains twice in LA, I'm like, well, that was all I had to do this year.
Exactly.
Oh my God. So really quick, before we skedaddle, can you tell us about your podcast?
Yes. I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's Potted Together and it's with my friends Becca and Nicole. So we all kind of started doing YouTube around the same time, doing plant Instagram, and eventually we just met up to just do a collab video, but we didn't know each other, and then we just became really fast friends.
Wow, that's so cool.
Where did you guys meet
up? We did here in Arizona because Nicole's mom lived out here in Queen Creek, which is pretty close to where I live.
Yeah.
And Becca was in Tucson, so Becca drove up, and we all filmed 3 videos and for each of our channels, and we spent like the first time we hung out, it was 12 hours together, and it was just like because we wouldn't stop talking.
So
I love that.
Sounds like how we met too.
Oh my God, literally.
Just that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so we decided to do the we decided to do the podcast because it was just something I've always wanted to do, but I didn't want to do it by myself. And so we were like, let's just give this a shot. And I didn't know anything about podcasting. And I was the designated editor, which I was fine with because I love learning new things. And,
hobbyist.
So yeah, it was fun. And I still really enjoy it. We record, I edit, and it's just like 3 friends getting together. And I know we get a lot of reviews of like, where's the plants and eye rolls and all that stuff.
I saw that. I'm like, rude.
But like, we talk about plants all the time, but I'm like you guys, we're more than plants. Like we're friends and we go off on tangents, and I'm going to do that because that's what I enjoy, you know?
Of course. It's more organic that way. Like I've listened to, some type of like maybe like gardening type podcast, and it's like, it's okay if it's strictly about plants, but I think that's why we started our podcast, because we wanted something that's more like you can listen to on your drive to work or at the gym, and it's just like fun. You don't
need your notepad out being like, trying to
and no shade to any other podcasts that are strictly like informational all the time, because there's a need for that, but there's also a need for just like fun,
Totally.
Yeah, like especially in this pandemic when we're all kind of like secluded from our friends. And like I told you guys, like when I listen to your podcast, I feel like I'm in the room with 2 friends and I'm just like having a chat. And people have said that about ours too. So yeah, it's nice. It's a nice connection from across the internet,
Yes.
Like we're doing this for us and we're happy to share it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Does that sound rude? I don't know.
And you guys are on season 2 now. Like how is season 2 been different from season 1? And like what kind of things have you guys, like, are you changing anything? Are you keeping things the same or expanding off of like a certain style?
Yeah, no, I think we're mostly, I do think that growing and changing your style is going to be something that happens. It seems very similar to like season 1. We are having our first guest. I have to edit that episode to go up Monday. And
oh my God,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we had Greenhouse Girl Gretchen, Greenhouse Girl 94 on Instagram. I adore her. So that was really fun, but it's also another challenge, like, to figure out how to connect and have a podcast across the internet. But so we're hopefully stretching into having more guests and doing that. And then topics are just kind of hard to think of sometimes, You're like, well, what do we talk about today?
We get it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's times where we're chatting and we're like, we can talk about this and this. And I'm like, let's split that in half.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Totally.
Well, I love your guys' podcast. I don't think anything needs to change. I think it's perfect.
And it's so much fun. Are you working on any merch right now? Because this is you, if I'm not mistaken.
That is.
I love when I see people wear the hats because like I'm a hat guy and I put a lot of effort into like making sure they were good, and I just adore them.
I'm obsessed with the color that you went with. Like it's so like, I love it. And it's like soft. You've had it for 20 years.
Yes.
And it's special, you know?
I love it so much.
Yeah. So I'm not currently working on anything because, well, maybe it's just because I don't know that side of things. Because the hats I had to buy all at once. Like I didn't have a company like shipping them out for me. Like I bought the whole stock and I was shipping them out myself.
Right.
And I want to do t-shirts, but I also want to be very size inclusive. And it's just, I don't know how to handle that. Or if I can find a local company here that can like print on demand. But I really want to do like a pocket t-shirt like I have. But still a logo and the glasses peeking out over the pocket.
Oh, that'd be
like
so cute.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's another fun creative element, like coming up with merch or like, you know, painted pots or whatever it is. So it's so much fun.
Yeah. I need your pots without a drainage hole because I want to put my Leca in them.
Yes. Well, the terrazzo ones, I'll have an option without a drainage hole. So don't you worry.
I'm
so excited for that.
Plugs work on the terracotta ones?
They would. So, because I buy my terracottas already made. And so if I could find the right plug, then the potentially.
Like IKEA pots always have the little plug.
Yeah. But since would terracotta and Leca not really mesh though? Because it's porous, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it would work, but I think you would also like, there'd be a lot more time on like checking on the water because it would start drying out. It would evaporate from the sides as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done hacks where I put like a plastic bag in there just so it wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
Like a bag. Yeah.
That's true.
So the way to go with Leca would be no drainage hole. Drainage hole. We never want a drainage hole, let me tell you. Drainage hole and I'm guessing ceramic is more the way to go.
I think so. Or plastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I have a good mix of like ceramic and these like IKEA pots that are just like plastic.
They're so cute. I love those. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Glass is sometimes hard because when the sunlight interacts with glass, like you have algae growing and it's just inevitable. But, yeah.
Okay.
I worry about glass getting hot too. Yeah. I don't know if that's a thing, but
I think sometimes the plants like the warmth, you know, maybe they just like that little hug of like, you turn on your seat heaters and you're like, oh, this is nice. This is all I need.
I agree with that because my grow tent gets pretty hot and steamy and my plants love it.
They're like, more, give me more. So funny.
You just open up the door and it just looks like Snoop Dogg is just like in there blowing clouds.
Sunglasses.
That'd be so funny. Oh my god. Oh, that's so cool. Was there any other questions?
I think that was it. This has been so much fun.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thank you for having me.
The time just went.
It flew.
I feel like it's been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I know. I just looked at the clock like just now and I was like, oh, it's almost been an hour. Wow.
I know.
Yes. Well, hopefully we'll have you on for a part 2 down the road. That'd be amazing.
I mean, anytime. This was a blast. So anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're all Arizona people.
Woo-woo.
So when the pandy takes a rest, we should all hang.
That'd be amazing.
I go home a lot. I mean, I'm in Tucson, but like it's not far, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know when you'll be back, but you'll be back.
Oh, I will. My mom's like, so Christmas is in Arizona, just letting you know now. Like, okay.
Yeah. You know, we can all just hop into that biodome too down near Tucson and we can just like peruse that. Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, that was an amazing video you guys did. Gorgeous. You and Becca, you went there, right?
Yeah, I was her filmer. That was fun.
Out in the middle of nowhere, right? It's like the biodome like off of, I can't remember the street. It's like Ajo plus 10. It's far. It's not Tucson anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty out there, but it was so cool to see. Like, I don't know, it was just pretty amazing to like see. And they gave us some plants from there too. So I have some in my collection that came from there.
Stop it!
That's so cool.
Amazing. If you ever get the chance to as well, there's an area of the U of A in Tucson that's like planted out outside. It looks like a jungle.
Ooh.
It's crazy. I'll find the name and I'll send it to you. So cool.
Yay. Oh, well, cool. So where can I find you, Adam?
Where can people find you on all the things? Find your podcast, your site, all the good stuff.
I'm Not Dude, KNOT, dude, on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. And my website's notdude.com.
Nice.
It's easy.
And podcast is at Potted Together Podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, at Potted Together. And that's
you guys,
YouTube.
Go ahead.
We have a YouTube version of that, but it's more or less collabs because it was really hard to figure out the editing with video on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because I usually record in a closet, so I have the day of like my clothes blocking the echo.
Totally.
But we've done collabs on there, and we've posted collabs on that YouTube channel. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, cool.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for drinking with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You guys can find us at
find us. I forgot. That matters.
At Boozy Botanical Podcast, at Concrete Botanical, _. Thank you.
_ Someone's getting so many follows on Instagram. They're like, who is this?
And at SoIGotFired.
And then my other show is at SoIGotFired.
That's right. And with that, everyone, let's do a final cheers.